Bata Manga.
This is a story of over a decade ago. I was working in a convenience store part-time while going to school, and often people would come to ask me to break their bills so they could use the lockers at the station. Those lockers were run by the same company that ran the convenience store, so most of the time it was okay to exchange for them. When it was busy, I'd constantly be breaking bills. But since it was the middle of nowhere, after the final train left at 10 PM, it was slow. I was working part-time there, and it was right around 12 PM when a woman wearing a long white dress showed up. You didn't really see people dressed like that in the middle of nowhere, but she was in her 20s and seemed like a normal, pretty lady. She seemed to be in a little hurry and was looking around the store. She saw me restocking the snack section and suddenly,
Excuse me, I'd like to use the lockers next door. Can you break my bills for me?
she asked me for an exchange. Sure, come by the register for me. I led her to the cash register. She asked me to break a 10, so I gave her a $5 bill and $5 in quarters back to her.
I kind of have a lot of stuff. Can you make it all quarters, please?
I was surprised at how much stuff she was planning to stuff into the lockers. I didn't think it was insane though, so I exchanged it for her. By the way, you can use the lockers for $1 every day, but every time you extend another day, you had to pay another $1. We'd often get complaints about how they put their stuff in at 9 AM, and when they came to pick it up at 8 AM the next morning, they had to pay extra. It was because we didn't mean 24 hours of use. We used the date to measure the time. It seems to be different from service to service, but our locker cutoff was 1 AM. That meant that if you put your stuff in at 11 PM and came back at 7 AM the next morning, you'd still have to pay for 2 days' worth. We had warning signs and everything. That meant that if the woman put the stuff in the locker right now, at 12 AM, then in an hour she'd have to pay an extra $1. I thought that was a little crummy, so I explained it to her. About the coin lockers, but then
I'm in a hurry, so...
she pretended to understand and returned to the car that was parked out front. I was kind of curious at this point, so I went outside to look at her pulling out something big from the back of the car and take it into the lockers. About an hour later, she came back into the store and bought a lot of ice. Then she asked me to break another 10. It cost another $1, so I wanted to explain it to you, but I told her that I tried to warn her, but...
It's fine. I'm in a hurry, so... Bye.
She vanished into the lockers again. About a week later, I got a call from the store owner when I wasn't working. He said that the police wanted to talk to me, so he wanted me to come by the store. I had a bad feeling. When I made it to the store, there were several police cars there, and the yellow "Keep Out" tape all over the lockers. It was covered by some sheets so that you couldn't see inside. There was a real-life police investigation unfolding in front of me, and there were people that looked like they were in CSI coming in and out of the sectioned-off part of the lockers. When I made it to the office, there were a few police officers and a man wearing a suit. The second they saw me, "I want to ask you about this woman." He showed me a photo. That's the woman from... It was absolutely that woman that was wearing the long white dress. He saw my reaction and immediately started asking questions. "You did see her then? Where did you see her?" She came by the store and said she wanted me to break her bill to use the lockers. I ended up breaking two $10 for her in total. "Okay, so you exchanged your $10 twice. Do you know what time you two made the exchange?" I think it was when we didn't have much coming in, so it was last Saturday, around 12 AM. But the date had just changed, so maybe it was Sunday? The store manager listened to me and started punching in the date on the computer. He pulled up the security camera's feed. There she was on the monitor, both of us talking and exchanging the bill and change. The police were watching her, and that's absolutely her. They looked at each other and started jotting things down. What did she do? I was afraid to ask, but I mustered up the courage. There was apparently a cut-up body in the locker. The woman was already arrested and in custody at this point, and the reason they wanted to talk to me was to make sure she had been here. This was on the news and even on some documentaries. The police officer didn't tell me many details, but according to the news, she hadn't only stuffed parts into the lockers. She'd also thrown away parts onto the trash cans, on some rest stops, and some parts into the woods. She had apparently thought that the smaller bits would be eaten by crows, and the trash would be taken out regularly as raw food. The locker was for the parts that were too big to be severed. She was planning on coming back after work the following weekend to dig a hole to throw the parts away. This is what I heard from the store owner, but apparently the timing was not on her side. It was in the middle of summer and it was burning up outside. The smell was unbearable very quickly, and the store owner had received a complaint from a locker customer. He went to go check. He found multiple bags with parts inside, mixed with bags of melted ice. The bags smelled terrible, even when they weren't open, so he called the police immediately. The police showed up to open the bags, and the store manager couldn't help but vomit after smelling the bags being opened. Even a few months after that, the store manager said he could still smell the stench burned into his nose. It must have been a truly wretched stench. The woman was arrested shortly after the locker was opened. Her motive was because she hadn't been able to work things out with her boyfriend. After killing her boyfriend, she cut him up in the bathtub. She had put him in several layers of bags and kept him on ice to prevent him from rotting. A week or so later, the sheets were removed and the lockers were replaced. The lockers were open for service again. Of course, the amount of people using the lockers dropped to almost nil. About a year later, the lockers shut down. I kept working at that convenience store even after the incident. However, I started to go by those lockers at night to throw away the trash. There are lights, but it's dim, and that makes it even more spooky. I'd often turn around and be terrified. She often showed up in my dreams too, almost killing me. Also, there was a man that was taking a bicycle trip, and he probably didn't know about the incident. He was sleeping under the locker in a sleeping bag, and it hurts. He was clearly having a bad time in his dreams. He was sleeping right next to the locker where the body was.
My name is Suzu. I have a twin sister, but we look completely different. She was cute and looked beautiful. She had all of the nice parts of my parents. I, on the other hand, had all the bad parts from my parents. My father even thought that my mother even cheated because I looked so different. My parents always treated us differently. And even when we were in kindergarten, the adults in the area always compared me to her. We were always talked about with how different we looked. I knew that I was treated as a nuisance, even as a child. We went to different elementary schools. I went to a regular public school while my sister went to a private school far away. Some of the boys that went to the same kindergarten as me, "You should be named Ugly instead of Suzu," would bully me the whole time I was in elementary school for being different from my sister. Afterwards, my sister went to a really great middle school while I went to a public school. I met someone there that I could call a friend. Boys are so stupid. They should really judge based on their personality. Suzu, don't worry about what they're saying. You aren't embarrassed being around me? Why are you so kind to me? I was in the same kindergarten as you. Every time I was being bullied by some boys, you always came and protected me. I was a little weak because of my asthma and kind of a shut-in, so I really appreciated you. I want to be with you. I was about to cry out of joy. Afterwards, my parents had told me that I wasn't allowed to go to a private school, but if I went to a public school, I could go with Mikako, so I had no option but to agree. Suzu, you're so smart. Why don't you go to a private school? My sister gets all the attention at my house. They don't even spend money on me. Your sister is that smart? It's not that she's smart. She just looks good. They want her to go to an all-girls school to avoid her getting into it with boys. I see. I started working part-time jobs while I went to school. I didn't have a bank account, so I just saved the money in my drawer. However, one day, my money was all gone. Oh, I took that money off your hands. I'm cute, so I need money, you know. I have a lot of friends, and I need to buy a lot of cute clothes. What the hell? I was saving that money to go to college. Then my parents came in to protect her. Suzu, if you're saving money from your job, you should pay your parents.
Seriously? How stingy.
She's ugly on the outside and the inside. My sister ended up going to a college from recommendations by teachers at her school. She was having fun at club meets and drinking parties. I didn't have any money to go to college, so I ended up just finding a job. My parents just kept saying that if I was working, I had to send money home, so I had no choice but to agree. One day, my father suddenly started talking to me.
Hey, you wanted to go to college, right? I can help convince your mother to let you.
Really?
You're ugly, but you have a very nice body.
My father looked at me up and down like he was looking at some meat and slowly closed in on me.
You know what I mean?
I felt in danger, so I slowly backed off and said, "Fine, Mom and Sis are gone next weekend, so I'll do it then."
Okay, great. Next week then.
I called Mikako, my friend who had moved to Tokyo, immediately and told her everything. "Suzu, you need to get the hell out of there. Come live with me." "Mikako, thank you." I was bawling from her kindness. I quit all of my part-time jobs and gathered my things before leaving. When I got to the station, Mikako welcomed me with a smile on her face. "Suzu, you are free to do what you want now." "Thank you. I've left the house, so I guess I can start by changing my phone number, huh?" "Yeah, let's go to the phone store now." Afterwards, I stayed with Mikako in her house while saving money to go to college. I couldn't believe how great it was to do what I wanted without any interruptions. I felt so fulfilled. I was able to successfully go overseas to study. I told Mikako after she got home from work, and she was as happy as if she had been the one to get the good news. "Suzu, congrats! You better come home sometimes to visit, huh?" I went to school using a bunch of scholarships and moved to the States. At first, I was pretty nervous, but I eventually started getting used to things. I came home sometimes and met Mikako, but I never met my parents or my sister. After I graduated college, I went home and found a job that I could use my degree in. That's where I met someone of my dreams and got engaged.
I need you, Suzu. Please marry me.
I was scared to accept, but I said yes to his proposal. Both of us were very busy, so we put in our marriage papers first before the wedding. My husband wasn't a huge fan of weddings, so he only invited a few people, including his relatives and some close friends, to have a small party. However, somehow my sister and my parents somehow figured out our wedding and suddenly came barging in. My parents, who looked good, were completely different now. My dad was a balding middle-aged man and my mother was an obese woman. My sister was still pretty though. She immediately started flirting with my husband. "Wow, you're great looking. Drop her and come with me. You want to be with this beautiful woman, not her, right?"
Suzu ran away from home and never came back. She's terrible.
"Momo is actually beautiful and great with men. Suzu is ugly on the inside and the outside, so she's probably just fooling you."
I couldn't say anything after they came just to insult me. My husband might believe them. He might want to get with her since she was prettier. I was worried, but those worries were in vain.
Stop talking shit about my wife.
"Suzu-chan is beautiful. Are you serious?"
My husband and his sister both covered for me.
"Where? She's so ugly. Look at her."
Yukun, my husband's sister's son, stared at her.
"See? Look. Even the child knows that I'm beautiful."
Just as she smirked. "Who is this lady? Did she not learn from her teacher that you shouldn't be mean to people?"
"What did you just say? What a little shithead. Get out of here."
She slapped him across the face. And that made my husband's parents furious.
"How dare you? You will not lay a single finger on kids. Get out. You're not family at all."
They chased them out of the wedding. Afterwards, my sister, who had bad spending habits, had a lot of loans and kept trying to come crying to me, but I lived overseas, so it wasn't like she could ask me for help. In the end, my parents couldn't repay her loans either, so they left her all alone and vanished into the night. My sister? She works the brothel and streets now, doing Lord knows what with random men to pay off her debt. She didn't study in school, so she only had her body to sell. I lived with my husband and his parents. We had a child, and we're still figuring things out, but we live a happy life together.
There was a really insane person at my old office. She had a serious case of RBF, but she was beautiful. However, you can't be fooled by her looks. She would steal, lie, be violent, and have affairs. She was just one of the worst people you could imagine. She would just keep talking about how men would just keep following her around. Please help me, and wouldn't stop bragging. She thinks that she's some kind of descendant of an elite class bloodline. I honestly thought maybe she had some kind of disease or something, like a mental thing. Also, after she started working there, a lot of weird things started happening in the office. At first, I didn't realize that it was her doing, but things around my desk and lockers started disappearing. I thought maybe someone had used or taken things by accident. I had written my name on a lot of things, so it was a little difficult to believe that someone would mistake it though. I talked to the manager about it and he just kind of looked at me funny.
You're thinking too much. You shouldn't doubt your co-workers.
He said. I was a little sad about the fact that he made me feel bad for losing my stuff. Nothing was really solved in the end. At the time, I liked to take photos and I would help the public affairs and advertisement departments out with their photos. People really liked my photos, but that was more so that my camera was incredible rather than my photography skills. I think anyone who used that camera would be able to take great photos. That co-worker asked me if she could use my camera one day. My nephew is having a field day at school, so I was hoping I could take the photos for his parents. But the camera I have is so old and janky. Can you lend me your camera? She said. I'm sorry, but I can't lend you that camera. Please, I'll return it right away. I can't do it. Sorry, ask someone else. What? Come on, it's fine. I kept telling her no, but she wouldn't just take no for an answer. Eventually, she just took my camera without asking when I left it on my desk. When I came back to my desk, I realized that the camera was gone. Oh no, my camera is gone. I was panicking when one of my co-workers who happened to be passing by said,
Oh, she said that she borrowed it from you and left.
So I called her phone right away. I'll return it by Monday. Don't be so mean. She didn't even make an excuse. It was as if she did anything wrong. But the camera is... Right as I was about to tell her, she hung up on me and then she apparently blocked my number. Come Monday, my co-worker didn't come to work, so the camera, of course, didn't show up either. She took off Tuesday as well. But on Wednesday, she had come into work and the camera was on my desk. I was happy that the camera was returned for a split second before I realized something. The lens cap was taken off and there was a huge scratch on the lens. The corners were also dented in and I tried turning on the camera when I realized that it wouldn't turn on. I went to her to question her, but... Camera? What are you talking about? She pretended not to know what I was talking about. No, you took my camera without my permission. Took it? What are you talking about? You must be losing your mind. Honestly, you shouldn't be bringing a camera that was important to work anyway. I don't know what happened to it, but it's your fault, not mine. She just kept saying things as if she had not a clue in the world. This isn't my camera. This is the section chief's camera. Huh? He lent it to me because he wanted me to help out the advertisement department. He said that the price is close to 10K, but I don't know the exact price. She started panicking a little bit more, but then immediately, I said I have no idea. You broke the camera, and you're sitting here saying that I did something. You're seriously just insane. She yelled. But then I said, I didn't say it was broken. How do you know? Oh. She looked a little frozen. I also felt like it was my fault for leaving it out where anyone could take it too, so we both went out to the section chief. I told him everything that I knew and said that I would pay it back. Then the co-worker, seriously, how can you leave it out like that when you lent it to her? It's so wrong on her part. She should pay for it, right, Chief? She said, riding her high and mighty horse. This little... Honestly, I was pretty pissed, but then the chief said,
Neither one of you had any bad intention.
He just left it alone. When I left the room, the co-workers said, You really dodged a bullet there, huh? And she patted me on the shoulder. For some reason, her and the manager were called up to the section chief the next day. I don't know what happened, but they were both gone within a week. According to my friends who loved gossip, it was a lie. It wasn't her nephew. She had an affair with a manager, and that's why the manager is separated right now. They even had kids. But apparently she's been trying to get closer to them to get the manager to divorce his wife. She went to the field day and the wife couldn't make it because of her. So she says. Apparently, the manager I initially talked to about the thefts was having an affair with her. How did the section chief find out? The memory card had photos of them at the field day, apparently. There were also some photos of them in the middle of it as well. The camera had a double slot memory, so she could only took out one memory card but forgot about the other. The second photo contained all of the incriminating evidence. She said that she was basically raped by the manager and screaming that it wasn't her fault, but the section chief saw the photos on the camera and deemed it impossible that she wouldn't have given consent. She still refused to admit any of it, but because all of the other news of her theft and violence came to light, she was terminated the next week. She apparently was violent towards co-workers who had known about the affair and threatened them not to tell anyone. There were even some co-workers who were thrown hard enough against the wall to dislocate their shoulders. The manager knew about everything that she was doing, but ignored it because they were having an affair. He was sent off to the middle of nowhere. The camera was used as evidence for all of the other cases that were brought forward for their wrongdoings. They also had to pay for the camera. The parents of the woman begged all of the people to take the charges down. They insisted they would pay for all the damages that she had committed. Some of the people decided to go with it, but most wanted to see her punished, so they continued to file their charges against her. As a result, she was sent behind bars. She apparently was a regular shoplifter in high school, and she had been dealt by the police numerous times. That, added to all of the current charges, added to a year and 5 months in prison without any chance of parole. She was going to pay off her debt to the society. Her parents probably tried her best to avoid this because they knew she would go to prison if she was charged. A year and a half later, she showed up at the office as if nothing had happened. She apparently came here to ask for a job since she was in the market for one. She wasn't allowed any further than the entrance and she was ignored by all of the employees. The section chief told her to get out as well. A normal person would leave, but not her. I'm not leaving till you hire me. She was furious. Apparently, she had gone to other interviews as well, but they all turned her down. She must have thought that this was the only place she could go. The police were called up and she was arrested again. The company has been peaceful since. There are some rumors that she may be in prison again, but I just hope she never shows up around me again.
I grew up in a single mother household. I had 2 younger sisters. It was a single mother household, so we were almost always poor. Additionally, at school, people would mock me for being poor, and it wasn't just a single person. They would often throw away my gym clothes. My mother went to work early in the morning, so I made bento with my sisters from early in the morning. There was a time that they threw that bento away from the third floor. Girl B, the leader of the group, was my worst enemy. That's why I was really happy after graduating and getting away from that town. My mother started getting sick and I came back to my hometown to help her out. I found my husband and we had a daughter. After my daughter was born, my mother recovered quickly. My husband was a kind man and thought that living with her would make her feel better too. My younger sister already lived alone. Then one day, I heard that girl B had moved back here as well and that my daughter was going to the same kindergarten as hers. My husband started his own company when he was in his early 20s and has been running several software applications companies since. As a result, I'd been living in a house that was well beyond my dreams and cars that were truly something else, although I had no real interest in those. That's why everyone knew about us, and when they saw us, we were considered the celebrities of the neighborhood. I was sure that we would run into each other since our kids went to the same kindergarten. I was upset, and who would have thought? I ran into her almost immediately. She saw me and started acting just like she did when she was in school. Wow, look at you. It's been so long. She closed in on me. Hey. Wow, you're wearing nice clothes. Doesn't suit you. I didn't need to be afraid anymore, but I was honestly terrified, almost like I was a child again. Then, suddenly, "Good morning, Tanako. The steak that you guys gave us as a gift? Oh my gosh, it was amazing. Please thank your husband for us." "Oh, I'm glad you enjoyed it." "What? You gave steak to someone else like that? You must have mistook it for some cheap ham or something. I don't know why this poor child is pretending to be a celebrity or something. It's cringy, so stop it." "Huh? You didn't know?" Tadako's husband is the CEO of several software and application companies. She's not pretending. She is the celebrity of the kindergarten. What? Tadako? You're kidding. Not kidding, right, Tanako-san? She went away after that. Girl B looked at me like she was holding a grudge. One of my friends who loved gossiping had told me that she's a single mother and is looking around for someone to get hitched to who has a lot of money. She must have been so furious about the fact that someone she bullied for being poor was doing great now as an adult. Did you know that Tanako was actually poor and quiet when she was a student? She was even bullied. She would run around telling people about my dark days. I've never bragged about being a celeb, and I don't like to live lavishly, so a lot of my friends kind of just look at her like, so what? If anything, you better be careful. Girl B is running around trying to spread bullshit rumors about you. They were literally all on my side. I was traumatized by the bullying I received while I was a student, so I didn't want anything to do with her. I did my best to avoid her, but one day, she called me up as if she had just defeated me. Honestly, I didn't want to go, but the one time I didn't go was when I was in high school. This is what you get for running away. A shower. Many students poured ice-cold water on me in the middle of winter. The next day, I ran a high fever, so I was too afraid not to go. At a certain park near the kindergarten, she suddenly started talking. I have good news for you. I slept with your husband. Huh? No, not huh. I did the dirty with your husband. I couldn't believe her. I completely trusted my husband and I knew he wasn't the type to cheat, but she was grinning at me as if she had just defeated me. I have proof. Look. She showed me a photo of her and a man that looked like my husband embracing each other. This is enough, right? Huh? Oh my gosh,
This is why I hate idiots. Your husband loves me, so you're useless. I'm going to be moving in with my son, so you just take your daughter and leave. I can't do that, and my husband would never have an affair. My husband was absolutely always busy, but he always took great care of us. I thought it was rude of me to not trust him. She must have been irritated by this and shoved the photo in my face. I don't care how much you deny it. Your husband loves me. Admit it. Stop. After being forced to look at the photo, I noticed something. This isn't my husband. What? It definitely is. Take a better look. It's not my husband. My husband doesn't have a birthmark here. My husband's twin brother has a birthmark there. What? You're kidding. Seriously, I'll let you meet my husband to prove it. You're lying. What are you making me do? You fooled me, so you better pay me $50,000 in damages. What? That's your fault. It had nothing to do with me. Don't you dare try to weasel out of this, you bitch. I'm going to sue you. You really think you have a chance at winning? Oh, wait. He's your husband's brother, right? Yes? Then he must be rich too. Because your husband is a super rich fellow with multiple app companies, right? Then his brother must be rich too. I don't think so. My husband started his company on his own, so it's not like they have anything to do with each other. What? You're lying. There's no way. I saw him wearing expensive brands. That's probably because he comes over to our house and borrows my husband's clothes sometimes. What? That's not funny. I'm not gonna let this go. I thought that she might try to reach out to my husband, so I told my husband everything from the beginning. While I was talking, I couldn't help but feel like I was so small, and I was worried my husband would hate me. Before I knew it, I was crying. But my husband?
Why couldn't I be there for you? I'm so sorry. I could have protected you.
He hugged me tightly.
You're so important to me.
My husband also contacted his brother after that. Later on, Girl B came storming me after figuring out that the brother had no money to speak of. Damages! You owe me money! Your brother-in-law tricked me! I spoke to him yesterday, but he said he didn't lie at all. If anything, he said that he hasn't even slept with you. When I asked him about the photo, he said that you were getting all weird when you jumped onto him. He just tried to catch you. No! Also, when you jumped onto him, you stole his wallet that was in his back pocket. He was glad to have found out who stole his wallet. Girl B must have forgotten what she had done because she started turning blue. He's going to press charges apparently. You slandered him and stole his wallet. She ran away like the wind. Afterwards, she was arrested because of my brother-in-law's charges. The whole story spread like wildfire, and by next week, she was gone. I couldn't do anything while I was a student, but I was about to muster up the courage to fight back thanks to my husband. I felt like I finally took a big step forward.
My name's Tanea. I've worked for 3 years and have finally started getting used to things. Recently, an old high school club friend, Kazuki, contacted me, letting me know that he was going to get married. She's seriously too beautiful for me. I'm so happy to marry her. I'll send out the invitation, so come over to the wedding. Kazuki was head over heels for her. I was waiting for the invitation, but I never got one. It was 2 months till the wedding, and I still didn't get the invitation. So I decided that it was about time to call. And I suddenly got a call from Kazuki's fiancé, Azusa.
I heard about you from Kazuki. I don't want this insane person coming to my wedding. You aren't invited. Please don't come. We've apparently sent you an invitation on accident, but please destroy all of it. Do not hang around Kazuki going forward.
She said, before hanging up on me. What the hell was that about? Is this really his fiancé? That's rude. I'm gonna call Kazuki. I was confused, so I called Kazuki. What? She said to throw away your wedding invitation? She must have been joking. I didn't realize she was serious. She said that she wanted to know your number, so that's probably why. She's so strong, taking matters into her own hands. He didn't bother apologizing for her behavior. He even laughed about it. That pissed me off more. What the hell is she talking about? She said that I was insane? Explain. Okay, fine. Let's meet tonight. I was waiting at the store that we had planned to eat at, but he showed up an hour late. Hey, sorry. Just a little bit late. A little? I've been waiting for over an hour. What the hell is going on? She called me insane. She said destroy the wedding invitation too. I don't get it. Well, you remember how you were fat. I said that you'd gone on a diet and had plastic surgery and stuff to get more attention from girls. Then she kinda took it to heart. What the hell? No, I just didn't eat as much after I quit the club. I told her I was joking, but she wouldn't believe me. That's why I can't go to the wedding. And that's not even the truth. I never got any surgery. I just lost some weight and I'm insane. Come on, put yourself in my shoes. Figure it out. I tried, but I can't. I don't want to fight with her either. Just don't come. What? You said you want me to go, so I took time off. What the hell, man? Oh, don't be so upset. I got married to a cute girl before you did, so you're just jealous. I know how you've been acting after you lost weight and started getting more attention from girls. Never really liked that about you. Just enjoy your day alone on the wedding day. I honestly couldn't believe it. We weren't that great of friends, but we often hung out in groups, so I didn't expect him to be thinking of me like that. He was walking off like he was so proud of everything before he left. Maybe Kazuki would have tried to stop me from showing up, even if his fiancée didn't say anything. I was furious as I headed home, and who would have thought the wedding invitation was at my house? We were all supposed to have fun. I'm the only one left out. Damn it. I tore it up and threw it away. One day, I got a call from a different friend from high school. Hey, what are you going to wear to the wedding? I'm not going. He told me to not go. What? What do you mean? I explained everything to him. What? Seriously? I don't remember him being that way. I actually got a call from my fiancée and she was talking about how I needed to wear the right clothes and not get drunk and other small details. So I got worried and tried to call you. Kinda weird, huh? Yeah. A lot of my friends started contacting me and I didn't want to keep explaining, so I'm not going to be attending the wedding. Don't worry about me and go have fun, guys. Sent out a message in the group text, letting them know I wouldn't be going. I'd forgotten about his wedding completely. Before I knew it, it was his wedding day. It's his wedding today, huh? Oh well, guess I'll have some ramen. Then my phone rang. Hello? Taneo, I decided I wouldn't go either. You free? Huh? Why? Let's go grab food, man. When I went to the store that my friend invited me out to, almost every single person from my club was there. What? You guys didn't go either? Yeah, we all told him that we weren't gonna go. Then everyone else slowly started connecting the dots and saying they wouldn't go either. I was really shocked, but I was so happy that I had all my friends again, that we just drank into the night. Friends are so great to have. A few days later, I got a call from Kazuki. What the hell, man? My whole wedding is screwed up thanks to you. What? I didn't do anything. You said something. Everyone started saying they couldn't go either. They started saying they didn't want to go to a wedding of some prick who treated his friends like crap. I invited other friends too, but there was no way I would make it on time. The parents started nagging about how I don't have friends, and Azusa looked upset too. He started acting a little upset again. To be honest, I knew what happened. A lot of my friends had already told me because Kazuki had already called my other friends, complaining about what I had done. So then your fiancé left the wedding, and the whole thing ended right there, right? How do you know that? My friends told me. You apparently have been calling them asking for money? Well, yeah, I would have got that money if it wasn't for you. Makes sense for me to ask for it. The reason they didn't go is because they didn't want to celebrate your wedding. It's your fault. Shut up, shut up! It's all your fault. I'm gonna sue you, so you better not come crying back to me. I was hung up on before I just let out a deep sigh. I didn't want anything to do with him anymore. I won't answer, even if he calls me. A few weeks later, Kazuki was waiting for me in front of my house. I thought he was going to complain again, and I was readying myself when he saw me and, "Taneo, please, let me stay over tonight. I was chased out of my house." "What? Why'd you come to me? I thought you were going to sue me." "I won't do that, please." "I don't know what you're talking about, but just go back to your parents' place then." "No, I can't." Apparently, he tried to work things out with her, but she found out about him being unfaithful. After she had claimed divorce on him, she sued him for damages, and he also had to repay the loan that he took out on his new home. His parents were furious, and they said that they were cutting ties with him indefinitely. That's why he couldn't come home. "Then ask one of your friends for help." "No, I already went to them, but they turned me away." "Come on, please help me. Let's just be friends like before. I'm single now." "I don't really care. And frankly, I don't consider you to be my friend anymore. I don't care what happens. It's your fault. Good luck." "Wait, hang on, man. Wait, Taneo." I left him and went inside. He apparently lived in his house all alone, but he was so shocked and had no one else to talk to, so he was struck down with depression. Because of that, he kept making mistakes at work and lost his job. He now works several part-time jobs and has been surviving. Barely. "No one's out drinking? Come on, invite me." He still asks us sometimes, but no one talks to him. He won't ever get the connections he had with people back.
My name is Yuko. I was proposed to by my boyfriend Tano. I happily said yes. He was an employee at a client's company, and I had just met him when I went to visit their office. It had been about 2 years since we started dating, so I thought it was good timing. We both introduced each other to our families and we moved to a new mansion together since we were going to get married. We were both working, so he helps out a lot around the house. There was one thing that I was bothered by. It was his childhood friend, Girl A. The first time I met her, she immediately looked at what I was wearing and...
The colors are nice, but the combo, I'll give about 65 points total.
First impression, by the way. Honestly, I was super shocked by the terrible attitude she was giving me the first time we met. At first, I thought maybe I was thinking too much about it, but she kept going. 63 points, 56 points, She just continued to score me. To make things worse, all of the scores were low. It was the first time I had been ranked, so part of me was a little at loss and part of me was just furious. I was just a mixture of negative feelings. To seal the deal,
Man, you're not good enough for Tano when your score is this low.
she laughed and went home. I was pissed off, but I was even more furious at Tano for not saying anything to her. Honestly, I don't want anything to do with her anymore. But then he said,
"Hey, she wants to come back sometime for dinner."
"Huh? Girl A?"
"Yeah, so I told her to come by this weekend. Could you cook something nice for us?"
What? You already said okay? I didn't even say I was okay with it.
What, you didn't want me to invite her?
Because I don't want to be scored again. I couldn't tell him. I just played it off. He said it was fine, so she was coming over this time. But if she's coming over, I want to make sure she can't say anything about my cooking this time. So I got all kinds of great foods and make sure that I only use the finest ingredients for my meals. This should do it. There were great dishes in front of me and I prepared everything perfectly before welcoming Girl A.
Good afternoon, guys.
Hi, come on in.
Wow, I didn't know you lived here. You're living the life.
What about your husband? Does he know about dinner?
It's fine. I just made him something random and left it. Then we walked into the living room and he said,
Whoa, this looks really good. My favorites are here too.
But she just glared at my food and didn't say anything. How about we eat, huh? Sorry if you don't like it. We started eating, and while we were eating, she only talked about the things that only her and Tano would understand. Oh yeah, the other day, Boy B.
What? Really?
Honestly, it's someone that I have no idea about, so I can't say anything, but he just keeps talking to her. I'm quiet and he didn't care that I wasn't able to join in. What is this person doing? What the hell did she come here for? While I was eating, I could slowly feel myself becoming more blue. I worked so hard for this food. No, thank you, or no compliments. As dinner was finished and she was heading home, she got up and said, "The looks were good, but you were too focused on the looks that the flavor sucked, so you got a 48. Why the hell do I have to put up with this? I could feel my heart pounding out of rage, but I kept it in. Sorry. You really should study to be better. What the actual fuck? She went home, but I blew up. Excuse me? What is wrong with her? Does she have any idea how hard I worked to cook for everyone tonight? And what the hell was that score? Is she trying to taunt me?
You don't have to be that mad. She's probably just trying to check you out since she's my childhood friend, you know? Besides, maybe you'll start working a little harder if she scores you, huh?
What? You think that's what will motivate me? Why the hell do I have to deal with her looking down on me? I'm your fiancé and she's just a childhood friend. And you don't cover for me at all. You don't care if she knocks me like that?
No, I don't really care what she says about you.
I was honestly at a loss for words. I was about to marry him, and he was okay with me being berated in front of him like that? I could feel myself growing distant from him every breath I took. I'm done. I thought that this wasn't going to work out anymore. Honestly, she's married too. Why the hell does she come between us anyway? As I was struggling to figure things out, he started talking to me about her again.
Hey, she wants to come over again. You cool with that, right?
Of course not. How can you not tell already?
Oh, come on. She's like a sister to me. Don't be like that.
If there was a scale and it was her or me, he probably wouldn't be able to choose. To me, that's all I was. I wasn't worth anything. Whatever. I'm not cooking again.
Thanks. I'll let her know.
I saw how happy he was talking to her, and I made a decision. That weekend... Good afternoon, I'm here again. She came in and immediately clung on to my husband before they got on the couch and started talking to each other. Oh, Yuko, I want to eat something.
She hasn't made anything tonight.
Oh, what? Hold on. She's a stay-at-home wife and she's not gonna cook? Wow, that's out of the question. You're gonna be like a solid 30 after that.
Oh, come on. Don't drop her that low.
While they were laughing, the doorbell rang.
Huh? Who is it?
Oh, I figured we could use more company, you know. I invited someone. There was a man that stood at the entrance. Tall, handsome, and great-looking. As soon as Tano saw him...
Who is that man?
Oh, he's an old friend of my brother, and he's always looked after me. Oh, I'm getting hungry though. Let's order something, huh? I ordered something to get by. He wasn't happy that Man C showed up and was glaring at him the whole time, but this was just the beginning. After the delivery showed up and we started eating, Man C opened his mouth.
What kind of company do you work at? Oh, I work at Tanabata Inc. Oh, okay. Kind of small scale. What about your husband? Girl A, was it? Where does he work?
Uh-huh. Oh, Company A.
Huh. I see. Both you work at a small scale company, huh? I see both of them are pretty bland and boring, so I'd say objectively speaking, you guys get a 20? What the hell? How dare you rank someone you've only just met?
Yeah, my husband isn't even here. What the hell, Yuko? Why'd you bring this guy? Oh, I'd love to say the exact same thing to the both of you. Imagine how it feels to be scored and ranked by someone you've only just met. What are you even mad about? You've been scoring me this whole time, girl A, and you've been totally fine with her doing it. You're not okay now that you're being ranked?
I mean, you know.
But this person is a stranger. Yeah, you're a complete stranger to me too. I don't give a rat's ass about you. You're just a random childhood friend and you're looking at me like I'm not his fiancé. So yeah, I'm just gonna let you know now the engagement is off.
What? Why?
Are you serious right now? You've been sitting there, watching your own fiancé get beat to a pulp mentally, and you're fine with it. In fact, you went along with it. I don't want to be with you for the rest of my life. I don't want to be with you for another second. I've already explained this to your parents, and both my parents and brother are fine with it. We're done.
No, wait, hang on. Yuko.
His parents wouldn't let him go home anymore because they found out the reason that the engagement was called off. Girl A was already not getting along with her husband, so this time around, he suspected her of having an affair, so he was going to divorce her too. I received a large amount of money from both of them before cutting ties with that moron. He still sometimes sends me texts asking to rekindle things, but I'm never going to get back with that loser.
I used to work for a small company with about 10 employees, but it was now what we call a black company, and overtime was the norm every day. And there was no overtime pay. Lunch breaks were only a few minutes long, and the number of days off were so different from the job description that it was terrible. There was an allowance also known as bonus, but some employees did not receive a single bill. We would only get one day off the week if we're lucky, and there was no summer or New Year's holidays, and no consecutive holidays either. And above all, the boss was the worst. It was a small company, so the boss worked with us, and he would often yell at us and complain about small mistakes for several days. He would force his employees to work overtime while he would go out and have fun himself. He was the kind of guy who would brag about what he did and wouldn't admit his own faults. Because of this guy, I had to do more and more things every day, and my work hours were increasing. In addition to that, it was a physically demanding job, so I was falling apart physically and mentally. I worked to the limit, got home tired, got some sleep, and went back to work, wondering how much longer I could go on like this. I met my husband at that company. My husband was the same age as me, but he was my senior who joined the company a year ahead of me. Around the time I started working there, the previous chief quit, and my husband became the chief by seniority. Being a chief didn't mean you get a better pay, but just more work. With the position came a lot of responsibility. As expected, my husband who became the chief became the target of the boss's bullying. He made him do something he wasn't taught before, and when he asks,
Don't you even know that?
and gets angry, he yells at him every day for the smallest mistake. Then, in front of the contractor,
This guy's an idiot. Don't you think so too?
I wasn't allowed to have my husband's back in front of all the employees to my boss.
This guy is no good. I can fire him. But do the carry. I'm nice, aren't I?
By the way, carrying was an even more strenuous job than the one he was doing at that time. My husband is a resilient man, but even he was exhausted every day because of the workload. When my husband started the carrying, the chief position became vacant. Normally, it would be nice to move up the ranks, but in this company, there are no advantages, so no one raised their hand. So the boss decided, as usual by seniority, after my husband left his chief position, I became the next chief. As I had expected, the number of things I had to do was gradually increasing and I couldn't keep up with it. I was the boss's next target, who blamed me for the things like poor sales and even for the customer disputes. I was tired of my boss's behavior, humiliating me for every second, every small mistake, blaming me for everything.
What? You got something you want to say? Say it. Come on. Come on. I can't hear. Come on. That's why you're an idiot.
He scoffed at me. I can say anything when he scoffed at me like that because he was the boss and a man at that. Apparently, it's been a really long time since a woman became a chief, and after that, I was made fun of by the boss all the time. It was so hard that I wondered how my husband was working through this. But I did my best. But the harder I worked, the more things I was in charge of. I started doing everything, so the boss got carried away and started adding more and more work. But there's a limit to the amount of work one person can take on. Of course, I tried to do as much as I could, but there were times when it was beyond my capacity. As if in anticipation, the boss came and yelled, and then tormented me. Naturally, my husband, who wasn't amused that I was being harassed, was angry. Then we talked together and my husband and I decided to take revenge. The next day, we started planning our revenge together, and on the day of executing it, the revenge that my husband and I did was quitting the company. We could have sued the company for harassment, but they were a company, and there was a possibility that we wouldn't win with a good lawyer. So we thought of a quicker revenge plan. I'll never forget the look on the president's face when we told him we were both quitting. He didn't even know we were dating. We are getting married.
And in doing so, we are quitting. Because it's tough with the salary here.
We both said. From the boss's point of view, it didn't matter to him that we were gone. He must have thought that if he brought in the new employees and trained them, nothing would interfere with business operations. The boss snickers and...
Go ahead. I guess I'll just be the one to be happy when you two are gone.
And we were able to leave the company smoothly. However, the boss's naive way of thinking was soon overturned. First of all, the physical work that my husband was doing was very tough, and nobody could do it, much less of a female employee. The people who has been doing this for a really long time, and even those who tried, stopped as soon as they felt physical pain. Thanks to this, there was no one left to take charge of the job, and the boss got impatient and did it himself, but the job was so hard that he stopped after one day. The work was not getting done because of that, and the contractors complained. And to the work I was doing, the boss said he could have someone else do it. But it was something other employees could learn quickly, and surely not something a rookie can do. And the boss can't even teach the new employees because of his personality. The only thing he can do is yell at them, and apparently the remaining employees were splitting the work up because it was something they could do. They also have to take care of the newcomers, so they don't have enough manpower at all, and the boss can't mentor the newcomers after all. Furthermore, the work my husband was doing wasn't progressing at all, delaying the deliveries and causing a vicious circle where employees were lost since they had to respond to complaints from the vendors. This caused even more overtime work than before, less sales and a smaller bonus, which was already a drop in the bucket. The company was now heavily in debt. The word from the vendors were terrible. They're not getting any more work, and the company seems to be in dire straits in no time. By the way, this is what the remaining employee told me, and that employee also quit a short time afterwards. The employees who had lost patience sued the company for power harassment as if they were adding on to the blow. Following in their steps, more and more employees filed suit against the boss. If the employees unite and file a class action lawsuit, that company wouldn't stand a chance after everything they've done. And shortly after my husband and I left the company, we heard that our former workplace went under. Of course, the president of the company will now spend the rest of his life with a lot of debt, and the industry will have blacklisted him, so he won't be able to come back. They got what they deserved. By the way, my husband and I started working again, albeit for different companies. This company rarely has overtime work, and even if we do, we get paid properly. That's the standard in society. But we were so happy that we hugged each other. And although we take turns taking days off, we're able to take it, and we can take the summer holidays and New Year's vacations if we want to. We were able to take time off to accommodate each other's schedules. After that, my husband and I sued the boss. I was so worried that it would be difficult to win against him in court because there was no evidence of power harassment or his awful words. But we were able to use the overtime work and days off as proof and decided to sue. After that, we were both able to receive the full payments for unpaid salary. We had a rough time with that boss, but I'll never forget the last look on his face when he lost everything.
Thank you for watching all the way to the end. What did you think of today's episode? Leave a comment and let me know your thoughts on today's story. And if you enjoyed it, don't forget to like and subscribe.